A 30-second elevator pitch is another tool that you should get a lot of mileage out of. This is typically something that's going to be used verbally more often than written, although you can have your pitch written out and use it, for example, in a LinkedIn summary or something like that. Here are the 4 tips. First, know that most of them stink. If you listen to a 30-second elevator pitch, I challenge you to look for jargon and cliche. Jargon and cliche are abundant in almost everybody's 30-second elevator pitch. The message that people communicate in that 30 to 60 seconds is not the message that they want to or should communicate. It's almost like they're trying to give you a certain message, but they say all the wrong words. You need to understand who you're talking to. Who is your audience? Why are you in front of them? And what would they be interested in? The acronym WIFM, which is What's in it for me. Now, that's not you, that's your audience. What is in it for the audience? Let's say, for example, you say that you're a highly analytical, great communicating team player. Well, what's in it for the audience? So far, you just sound like everybody else who's stuck on themselves and talking about themselves, kind of a little brag sheet. And what you're not doing is relating it back to what their current needs are. Take note of that idea. You can't effectively give somebody a 30-second elevator pitch unless you know what their needs are. What that means is you're not necessarily going to give the pitch immediately when you first meet somebody. You might give an abbreviation or a version of your 30-second elevator pitch, but as the conversation progresses, you'll probably want to revisit some of those talking points from your 30-second pitch and customize the conversation based on who they are and what's in it for them. As we mentioned earlier, make sure that it's easy for them to understand. This goes beyond jargon and cliche. Simplify concepts so that they don't have to connect a lot of dots. And finally, empower your evangelists. The words that you use in your 30-second elevator pitch are the same words and phrases that they'll use to talk about you. If you're working on your 30-second elevator pitch, you need to do some self-evaluation and figure out what the characteristics are that you want people to think about. For example, I've found that people are surprised that I used to be a programmer, but I can still talk coherently to other people. There's a stigma that computer programmers don't know how to communicate in a group, in a crowd, from the stage, etc. If you can communicate well with other people, and that's part of the brand that you want to communicate, then you want to make sure you put that down. So first, put down what your characteristics, skills, and strengths are, who you are within your brand boundaries, and then put yourself in your audience's shoes. What is it that you can say about those things to help show who you are that would be interesting and intriguing for them? Finally, practice. Practice a lot. Practice in the dark, practice in front of a mirror, practice in front of a recorder, practice in front of real people, whether they're friends or at a networking event, but practice. Get it down so it doesn't sound like you're reciting something memorized, rather that you're just simply talking about yourself in a very natural way. As you practice, you should get an idea of how long your pitch goes. If it goes on and on and on and you're trying to cram one more thing in, I would suggest that you pull back, shorten the pitch, and allow the other things to come out in different parts of the conversation.